Hello there, you're welcome to His Cup TV. My name is Collins Nanaya Abebrese. Now, in this video, I want to introduce you to the Osu Castle or the Christianborg Castle, which is located in Osu in Accra. I visited it some time ago, but because of one or two reasons, I couldn't upload the video. So today, I'm giving you the Osu Castle. Of course, that's the Christianborg castle. Now, this castle is quite different from the other castles that we know. I'm talking about Elmina, I'm talking about Cape Coast, and all of that. This castle is found in Accra. It is located in Accra, and it used to be the seat of government, and that's where all the past presidents used to live. And so, from Nkrumah up to Jerry John Rawlings, and even Kufuor even lived in that castle. And so it is very unique. It's not like the normal castle that we know, even though it was used the same way as the other castles were used. I mean, slavery, and all of that. But governments, stayed there in Nkrumah and all of that, all the military coup, all the military regimes, they all stayed in that castle, and that makes it unique. Now, Kufuor came and he felt that it wasn't right for presidents to live in a castle, slave, a former slave dungeons and all of that. And so Kufuor decided to build the Flagstaff House or the Jubilee House, which will now house the seat of government. And so let's watch the video. Let's go in there and watch the video. You can share your view in the comment section. I have the history also behind the Christianborg Castle also in the video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these educative content. Hello there, you are welcome to His Gov TV. So in this video, we are going to explore the Osu Castle or the Christianborg Castle, which is also known as Fort Christiansborg.
Guys, my name is Nanaba.
And my name is Linda.
We are students of Ghana Christian International High School, and we urge you all to subscribe to His Gov TV. Thank you.
The castle was built by the Danes. Now, the area was first occupied in 1550 by the Portuguese, though in the 17th century, Portuguese influence diminished. All right. Now, the area came under the control of the Sweden in the 1650s, which was led by German trader Heinrich Karloff. And so, in 1652, he was given a permission to build a small fortified lodge by the King of Accra, with whom he had previously done business with. And so in 1660, control passed to the Netherlands, but it was soon lost to Denmark and Norway again. And so in 1657, Karloff again traveled to Africa, and this time he was representing Denmark and Norway, and then he hoped to conquer the fort that he had previously established, which was found around the Osu. Now, in its early life, the castle was primarily used in the gold and ivory trade, and so it was used. It was a center for the trading in the gold and then the ivory trade. Now, bear in mind that this castle has been in the hands of the Portuguese before, the British, and even the Akwamu. The ethnic group in Ghana. The Akwamu ethnic group also occupied the fort around 1693 after they had overpowered the occupants in the castle. And whilst these Akwamu people, they disguised themselves as merchants, and one of their leader, Asemani, he was the Akwamu leader, and he disguised himself as a merchant to trade with them. And so he eventually sacked all the Europeans in the castle and took over the fort. Okay, for a year, he traded with different merchants from many nations. And so in 1694, Asemani then sold the fort back to Denmark and Norway for 50 marks of gold, okay, and which is worth somewhere today, we can say 200,000 euros or 250,000 euros. But interestingly, Asemani did not give the key to those that he sold the castle to, and so he retained the keys, and so he did not give the keys back to the Denmark after a year of occupying the castle. He retained the key, and the keys are still in the ethnic group's possession even up to this day. If you go to the Akwamu palace, you would see the key. So after it was sold back to the Danes by Asemani, additional storerooms and garrison quarters, platforms, base stations and houses were also added to the original fort. So initially it was a fort, and as you saw in the video, you could see some 2 forts over there. So yeah, this is the fort story we're talking about. So originally it was a fort. Now so in 1850, the British bought all the Denmark's Gold Coast possessions. So later the British, bought everything. And then an earthquake also happened somewhere in 1862, which also destroyed most of the upper floor, which were rebuilt in wood. Okay. Later that century, the castle also became the seat of the colonial government. It was abandoned by the British colonial powers from somewhere 1890 to 1901, and within this period, it was used as a psychiatric asylum, all right, and then it became also the seat of the government again in 1902, and I believe this was the time that the Gold Coast Asante was conquered, and so the colonization proper started. So in 1950, the wooden floor were rebuilt according to the original Danish plans, and then in 1957, when Ghana became independent with Queen Elizabeth as its head of state, the fort became government house, or the residence of the Governor General. And so when Ghana became a republic in 1960, it became the residence of Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And this is how the Christianborg Castle became the seat of the government of Ghana. So from Nkrumah in 1960 up to Kufuor somewhere in 2005, this castle has been the seat for the president of the Republic of Ghana. So as you can see, this castle, when you look at the architectural style of this castle, it looks quite different from the other 2 important castles, or other 2 famous castles that we already know. That is the Cape Coast Castle and also the Elmina Castle. Now, when you look at the Cape Coast Castle and the Elmina Castle, you can see that the architectural style is somehow different as compared to the Christianborg Castle. Looking at the Christianborg Castle, you feel like it's more or less like a residential kind of castle. It's not that open. You can see from the building, it's not an open castle, like a more closed, like a residential area. And so the presidents of Ghana, from Nkrumah up to Kufuor in 2005, were all living here in this castle. So in 2005, there was a debate over whether the Osu Castle should be replaced as the seat of government. So the then president, John Ejiokum Kufuor, argued out that his government should not sit in that castle due to its previous association with slavery, and also because its facilities were inadequate. Yeah, and so Kufuor argued out that the castle the seat of the government should be changed from the castle because of of these reasons. But at that time, the opposition, the NDC, rejected because the new building that the president was proposing was almost $50 million. And so, according to the opposition, it could have been used for other things. But hey, Osu Castle is no longer the seat of government. Okay, the seat of government is now the Jubilee House. Okay, the Jubilee House is now the seat of government, which was moved from there by President Kufuor. So currently, the castle, as you see it in your video, is just a historical monument. Yes, a historical monument for the government of Ghana, and it is nothing less than just a historical monument. So just enjoy the castle. We will see if we can go in there and also video for you to see how the inside also looks like. But hey, this is the Christianborg Castle, built by the Danes in the 1660s. Watch out, we may also visit other castles as well. The next one we may visit will be the Cape Coast Castle. So this is the Christianborg Castle, located in Osu.
The slavery trade was going on here. This is the area. And so this is where they will bring the people, they will line them here. And the middle one was officially used for the president and the governors. And so as a way of respect, this is where Nkrumah signed independence. This room. This is the room and the bed, the wardrobe Queen Elizabeth used in 1960. This is the Osu Castle Gardens, where events are held here. Past presidents have had so many events here.
I want to draw your attention on something, on an issue, a running debate which has been going on for a very long time. We have some people who argued out that, or there are some people who argued out that colonialism was good for Africa, mainly because of some of the things happening today in Africa, especially with regards to economic management, whereby even today in Ghana, we are struggling to get just an IMF deal, just because our debt has reached an unsustainable level, and so we are even finding it very hard to get just an IMF deal, and we are begging our creditors to cancel some of our debt. And so, because of all these economic problems that most African countries face, a lot of people think that colonialism was good for Africa, and most of them even argue, bringing out the story of South Africa, and all those countries that still have a white minority in there. And so sometimes they even go far as blaming our politicians for sacking the Europeans to go away. And I don't blame these people, okay? I don't blame them at all, because when you look at the circumstances happening today, it is very easy for you to think like that, because to these people, they feel that if we had allowed the Europeans to settle like they did in South Africa and all of that, they would have developed the country for us, instead of we sacking them and thinking that we could manage our own affairs. But let me just, the only thing I tell those people when they talk about that is for them to look at all the castles we have in Ghana. Ghana has the highest castles, the number of castles, the highest number of castles in the West African region. Now look at the surrounding of the castle. as you see it in your video. This castle has been here since 1660, that's the 17th century. Now look at the surrounding. If you are a Ghanaian, or even if you are from any part of West Africa which has a fort or a castle, look around that area and tell me what development has been made by the Europeans over there. That because of that, if we had allowed them to stay, they would have developed the country. Look at Osu, around Osu, just beside a castle which has been built since 1660. And don't forget that these Europeans stayed in these castles from 1660 to 1957. How many years, how many centuries have passed away? But ask yourself, what monument over there can we use or can we ascribe to the Europeans? What development, what have they done around the castle? I tell them that if Ghana, if colonization was good, then the areas around the castle should be the best. Should be the best area that everybody may want to go. Should be the best, like the most beautiful part of Ghana. Look at Cape Coast. Even Cape Coast is better, because Cape Coast around the Chapel Square area there, you can see some nice tarred roads and all of that. But hey, the only thing you can see around that place is a church that they built for us. That church, is it a Methodist church or so, at the Chapel Square? That is all that they did. If churches was what we used to develop a country, then the colonial masters had done enough. But because we don't use church to develop countries, look at what is happening. So look, even go to Elmina Castle. Elmina Castle is even worse. Look around the Elmina Castle. What development is there? So even if we had allowed these people to stay here, they would have stayed here for millions of years, and yet nothing will happen. This is just a colonial economy. Forget about the railways they built, the roads they built. All these railways and the roads they built were just to help them to be able to exploit some of the mineral resources. Hey, they have gold in the interior, they have bauxite in the interior, they have timber in the interior, in the forest region. How would they transport these timbers and other raw materials to the coast? The only way they can do is to build a railway or to build roads, and that is why they build the roads and harbor. Gaggisberg building of the harbor was not built to develop Ghana. It was built just for our purpose, just for their purpose, alright? And Edubuahin, if you read Edubuahin's book, Edubuahin will tell you that all those colonial achievements are termed as unintended. They did not intend that it will be of our benefit, but rather it will be of their benefit. So hey, the next time anybody tells you that colonialism is good, just ask him this question. Cape Coast, Elmina, and Osu, where they stayed for many centuries, would the person be happy to stay in any of those communities around the castle? If he says yes, then hey, thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.